I did this video the other day. I thought it was pretty cool, and there's no way I could have done this manually. I did a little arc recording, and then I'll speed it up here. I went up, backwards, and sped up, and kept the camera pointed at the center of the bridge. And that was 4 steps. I am not coordinated enough to do on my own. So I'll show you the steps using Drone Link I did to make that video. So I create a new plan. This is just like the other one with a single point of interest. So same spot, same bridge. So create a new plan. We'll call it bridge. And I'm going to leave the speed set at 10 and leave everything else the same. Return to home when it's done, and the takeoff restriction I'm going to leave to specific area, just so if I go on vacation or something and accidentally click this, it's not going to try to fly to this bridge from wherever I am. So now I'm going to add a path, and we'll just drop the path here. We can move it afterwards. So like before, I'm going to change the altitude up to 125. And leave everything else the same. I'm going to leave the speed at 10. So now it drops a bunch of things on the screen. So the orange one is our takeoff area. So I'm going to put that back in this parking lot. I'm going to zoom in and make the restricted area to take off larger. So again, I have to be within that orange circle to run this mission. So now it's going to fly over here. So the path is a minimum of 2 points from here to here. So I want to do just an arc on this corner. So I'm going to move the start of the path there. Bring this point down there. And now I can make a little path. Try to make us a little shorter. So let's go. Yep, so this path will be flown at 125 feet. But you need to tell it where to look. So you can right click anywhere, and we're going to add a new point of interest plus marker. And we'll just leave that alpha. Also, I'm going to change this to curved. So this is what it's going to be looking at. So like before, I'm going to go to this car on the bridge. Done. We'll go back. Click on my point of interest again. And I need my altitude offset. So for here, I know I want it to be -30. If you're shooting a tall building, you might need to go positive so the camera looks up, looks down. You can play with that in the viewer. So it's going to fly the path, and when it gets to this marker, that's when it's going to look at the point of interest. So I'm going to move the marker all the way to the beginning. And if we had another point of interest, we could have it look at that. But just for this, I just want to fly this way with the camera focused on the center of that bridge. So now we'll go back, and if you click on the path, you can go and adjust your speed. I found with the curved flights, the faster you go, the rougher the footage looks. It's more jittery. Alright, so now we'll add a new component. And before I forget, I'm going to add a drone command. Return to home altitude. Make that 130. And I'm going to move that up to the top. That way, before the drone takes off, it gets the altitude command as to if it loses connection, what altitude it's supposed to come home at. Okay, so now we have the arc. Now we want to record. So I'm going to add a list, and we'll just call this list record. And I'm going to move this list up so it starts recording before it does the path. There's probably a better way to do this, but this is how I did it. So now I'm going to click this arrow, go into the list, add a component, add a command, camera command, and we need to tell the camera to stop doing whatever it's doing. Even if it's doing nothing, you just have to give it a starting point so it knows that it's not doing anything. So we tell it stop capturing. Even if it wasn't capturing, you have to tell it stop capturing. Now we need to tell it to go to video mode, camera mode, video. Now we need to tell it to start recording, command, camera command, camera start capture. So now it'll start recording. And as you can see up here, I got a warning. It says we started the video, but we never stopped it. Alright, we're not done yet. So now I want to do that pullback. So I'm going to add a new destination. Let's zoom out here, try to replicate the video, and just down here. So I made this 325 feet. We are going to add another command after it gets to this point, which will be camera stop capture. So we'll stop the video. Done. Now in my video, let's go back to our main list. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. Alright, so let's delete that. That was in the... Oh, that's in our record list. We do not want to record and stop recording immediately. So let's go back to our main list. Okay. So now we'll add the new component, the destination, which is down here at 325 feet. Done. After we get to there, we want to tell it to stop recording. Camera stop capture. Done. So now we will just, and you see the warning went away when we added stop capture. So I know I'm missing a step. I just want to show you what happens when you miss this step, or how to get that increasing altitude while pulling away. So in the mission preview, see it goes up, goes to this, it's going to start recording here, do the arc. Now it's going to rise to 325 feet and pull back while recording. But I want it to be a diagonal, a gentle increase in altitude. So let's go back to this destination. Altitude range. So this is kind of confusing, but we're going to say when the drone is 200 feet below the altitude, it can start moving towards this destination. So just that one simple change. And we'll just go back and compare to what we just saw. And now you can see it's not straight up anymore. It's flying at an angle. And we can make that angle a little more gentle. In my video, I increased that speed to 23 miles an hour because I wanted it to pull back fast, but I didn't want to speed up the video because I wanted the cars to still look like they were going the same speed as the rest of the video. So increasing that speed should soften that angle. There we go. Increasing that speed softens the angle, and it'll go back here. Let's go back to that destination. After it gets to that destination, this achievement time means it'll sit there for whatever this amount of time is before it goes to the next step. The next step in this case is camera stop capture. So I just want to bump that to 6 or 7 seconds. So it'll get back here, stop, and still be recording. What I forgot to do is tell it where to look. So we need to give it a point of interest to look at while it's flying up and away. I want it to be looking at the same spot. And we want to do the same altitude offset. So I'm going to zoom in and try to put this point of interest as close to the other one as possible. No errors. So I'm going to look at the mission estimate. One video. That's good. Let's take a peek and see how close this looks to the real thing. And I will speed this up. And this is good to look at over here because it can tell you how far you are to the first point. We'll just let it play out. Okay, turn to look at the point of interest. Doing the arc. Rising, pulling away, rotating, and pitching the gimbal. And when it gets to the end here, it will sit, keep recording, and stop recording. And I am a fan of give it a final destination that's a lot closer to you than where it was, so that when it ends the mission, you can hear it and then bring it to your precise landing. Hope that helps, guys.